My parents call me a terrible daughter for not pressuring my husband to rehire my brother. I'm a 34-year-old woman raised in a tight-knit family where loyalty and support for one another were paramount. My parents have always viewed my younger brother, Liam, 29, as the favored child. Growing up, whenever Liam got into trouble, I was expected to fix it. For instance, when he wrecked my bike as a kid, I was scolded for letting him use it and had to give up my allowance to cover repairs. If he failed a class, I was tasked with tutoring him daily, even if it meant sacrificing my own plans. I became the unofficial troubleshooter for Liam's messes. I love him, but he's impulsive, charming when it suits him, and rarely faces consequences. Meanwhile, I worked diligently to build a stable life, attending college, securing a good job, and marrying my husband, Dan, 36. Dan is wonderful, patient, honest, and a hard worker. He's been with his company for over a decade, rising to a managerial role at a well-regarded mid-sized tech hardware firm. He oversees a team managing inventory and logistics for high-value electronics, taking his responsibilities and endorsements seriously. Over the years, my parents frequently asked me for favors for Liam, money for car repairs, a place to stay after a breakup, you name it. They always framed it as family supports family. I helped when I could, but started setting gentle boundaries as I got older, like refusing to lend money after too many unreturned loans. My parents didn't take this well, guilt-tripping me about my wealth compared to Liam's struggles and my duty to share my success. It's been draining. The latest issue arose when Liam lost another job a few months ago. His work history is spotty, with short stints in retail and warehouses. My parents hinted that Dan could secure Liam a position at his company, emphasizing how Liam just needed a chance, and how I could prove my family loyalty by asking Dan. I was reluctant. Mixing family and business can end badly. But Liam pleaded, promising to turn his life around with a good job. After weeks of pressure and seeing his desperation, I gave in and spoke to Dan. Dan was hesitant but agreed to help. He arranged an entry-level role for Liam on his team, handling inventory records and warehouse tasks. It wasn't glamorous but offered good pay and benefits, a real opportunity. Dan stressed to both me and Liam that recommending him was a risk to his reputation. I assured Dan I understood, believing Liam would rise to the occasion. For the first month, things seemed fine. Liam showed up on time and was learning the ropes. Dan gave me brief, positive updates, and I felt hopeful. That hope didn't last. One evening, Dan came home unusually quiet and told me about an incident at work. My heart sank. He explained that several high-value graphics cards had disappeared from the inventory cage, a significant loss. Security footage caught Liam trying to smuggle them out in his backpack. He initially claimed he thought they were discarded items, a flimsy excuse, before admitting he planned to sell them for cash. The company has a strict no-tolerance policy for theft, and HR fired Liam immediately, escorting him out. I was mortified. That night my parents bombarded me with calls. Still reeling from shock and anger, I answered, a mistake. They were livid, claiming Liam was unfairly punished for misplaced items. They either believed his story or chose to. They demanded I fix it, ignoring my explanation that Liam was caught stealing on camera. My father said something like, "Your husband should have protected family. Who cares about a few gadgets?" I was stunned. I argued that Dan had given Liam a chance, which he squandered. My mother sobbed, insisting I convince Dan to rehire Liam to prevent his struggles, even suggesting I should have guided him better. I refused to ask Dan to jeopardize his career for someone who stole. This sparked a heated argument. My parents accused me of abandoning family, with Dad issuing an ultimatum. Convince Dan to rehire Liam or find him another job at the company, or don't bother contacting them. They called me a bad daughter and sister. Furious, I said if that's how they felt, so be it, and hung up. I haven't spoken to them or Liam since. I texted Liam, expressing disappointment and asking what he was thinking, but he didn't reply. Instead, he posted a vague social media rant about backstabbers and family who don't support you, clearly aimed at me. I'm torn. My upbringing taught me family comes first, and I feel guilty for how things turned out. Part of me wonders if I could have pushed Dan or his company harder, though rehiring a thief seems impossible. Another part is furious at Liam's recklessness and my parents' expectations. Dan supports me, saying Liam's actions have consequences and my parents are wrong to burden me. Logically, I agree, but guilt lingers since I facilitated Liam's hiring. Did I set him up to fail? So am I wrong for refusing to pressure Dan to overlook Liam's theft? Edit for clarity. Many asked why the company didn't press charges. Dan advocated for Liam, preventing legal action out of loyalty to me and to spare me the fallout of a family arrest. It was a one-time gesture, yet my parents still see Liam as the victim. Update 1. Thank you for the overwhelming support and honesty. Your comments help me see how unreasonable it is for my parents to expect me to excuse theft and how their enabling behavior has deep roots. Reflecting on the past, I recalled when Liam was caught shoplifting as a teen. My parents smoothed it over with the store owner, avoiding charges, and downplayed it as a misunderstanding. Liam faced no real consequences, learning he could always rely on them. Your advice about enabling hit home. If Liam's never held accountable, he'll never grow. Regarding Dan's job, there was some fallout. He had an awkward meeting with his bosses, apologizing for recommending Liam and promising to be more cautious. I feel awful for putting him in that position. Liam's history includes at least one other firing, which my parents blamed on a bad manager, but I now suspect his behavior played a role. My parents have always enabled him, expecting me to clean up his messes. Inspired by your advice, I sent my parents a calm but firm email, expressing love but refusing to ask Dan to compromise his career. I said Liam must face his actions' consequences, and I won't engage if they resort to insults or ultimatums. They've responded with silence, likely a tactic to pressure me. I texted Liam, offering to talk but not to fix his mistake. He didn't reply, instead posting another dramatic social media jab. I'm holding firm, refusing to chase them. I've also started looking for a therapist to address my guilt and family conditioning. Things are at a standstill, but I'm preparing for the long haul, hoping they'll eventually talk without demands. Update 2. The silence continued, and my parents escalated. Dan came home upset. My father had emailed his company, accusing Dan of failing family and portraying Liam as a victim of an overreacting employer. He claimed Liam took the items because he wasn't paid enough. I was humiliated. Dan's boss, thankfully, dismissed it, asking Dan to ensure it wouldn't happen again. I sent my parents a short, angry email demanding they stop interfering with Dan's job and warning that further actions would damage our relationship irreparably. I called my mother, who claimed they had no choice since I wouldn't help Liam. The conversation went nowhere. She insisted they were protecting Liam, ignoring how their actions hurt me and Dan. I lost patience, saying their behavior was unacceptable, and hung up. Silence resumed. Liam sent a snide text blaming me for upsetting Mom, but I didn't respond. His lack of accountability is frustrating. Dan's workplace considers the matter closed, and he continues to support me, reassuring me I'm not wrong. I'm bracing for whatever comes next. Update 3. My mother, the softer parent, reached out, leaving a voicemail to talk alone. I agreed, and she visited. Dan stayed nearby for support but gave us space. Mom looked weary and teary, and we hugged. She said she missed me and regretted our rift, but soon pivoted to pleading for Liam, not for his old job, but for me to ask Dan about other opportunities or use my contacts. She called it a compromise. I explained that I'd helped Liam repeatedly, but his actions cost him the job, and he must face the consequences. I expressed hurt over their attack on Dan, especially the email. Mom cried, saying they couldn't let Liam fail, but didn't grasp how their enabling harms everyone. She admitted Dad won't speak to me until I fix this, and asked if Dan could give Liam another chance elsewhere in the company. I clarified that wasn't possible. Liam burned that bridge. She left, saying she hoped I'd reconsider, but made no promises to change. We hugged, both crying, but the conversation felt unresolved. Final update. Months later, we're still estranged. No contact with my parents or Liam, not even during holidays, a painful first. A cousin shared that my parents got Liam a job through a friend's connection, so he's employed. I hope he doesn't squander it, but history makes me skeptical. I'm relieved he's not in dire straits, but his path is his own. I've been seeing a therapist regularly, which helps process the guilt, anger, and loss. My marriage is stronger than ever. Dan's unwavering support has been a lifeline. We've discussed boundaries and the family dynamic we want if we have kids. I still hope for reconciliation, but only if my family meets me halfway, which they haven't. Accepting this brings some peace. My door remains open for respectful dialogue, not demands. Thank you all for your support. It gave me the strength to stand firm and not cave to my family's expectations. Thank you for watching my story. If you enjoyed it, please Please subscribe and press the bell icon. Stay tuned for more real-life stories. Get more experiences.